Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Welcome to my full Rebecca guide, and today we'll cover everything you need to know about her. Her best weapons, wedges, introns, teams, and much more. To start off, let's talk about what Rebecca actually does. So Rebecca's most important skill is her E, Aurelian Caress. Upon using E, she spawns one jellyfish on the field that deals hydro damage in a circle, and up to 3 of these can be spawned at the same time. Unless you have Intron 2, in which case the limit is 5 jellyfish. Each jellyfish inherits all of Rebecca's stats, and it's important to note that this does not include her melee or ranged weapons stats. When Rebecca deals damage with her jellyfish or her melee weapon, the enemy is inflicted with 1 stack of Poison of Love, her passive, which deals hydro damage every 2 seconds. Enemies can have up to 6 stacks of poison at Intron 0 and 8 stacks after Intron 2. The poison lasts for 6 seconds, and when an enemy is defeated while poisoned, they spread the poison to enemies around them. Rebecca's ultimate is a pure damage skill that deals increased damage to enemies for every stack of poison that they are inflicted with. So in terms of leveling priority, her most important skill is E, then her passive skill, then her ultimate. For the passive stat upgrades, Lovesick Energy and 7-Day Spread are priority, and any upgrades to the attack boost and skill range boost depends on how many resources you're willing to invest into Rebecca. Generally, I just go for the first attack upgrade and the first skill range upgrade. Now let's talk about Rebecca's playstyle and how to actually get the most value out of her. Rebecca's playstyle is centered around her jellyfish and her passive dealing massive AoE damage. So that means she performs best in multi-target scenarios, and the more enemies she can hit at once, the better she becomes. Because of this, she's one of the best farming characters in the game, whether you play her yourself or deploy her as a combat partner and go AFK. Unfortunately, her focus on heavy AoE damage means she's not the best at bossing. Her farming builds and bossing builds are total opposites, and without the sanity recovery from defeating enemies, she can struggle with the costs of keeping jellyfish on the field constantly. Even with investment, her damage with a bossing build still doesn't match other top tier DPS, so investing a ton into her for single target damage isn't really worth it unless you really like her. With all that out of the way, let's talk about weapons and demon wedges. So the best wedge setup for a farming and AFK build is a Bahamut's Misty Veil, Griffin's Sea Wave Wildfire, Typhon's Prime Morale, 4-piece Covenanter's Blaze Inspo, and 1 Covenanter's Blaze Spectrum, with a Feathered Serpent's Sidestep in the center. Keep in mind this is assuming plus 10 out of 5 on all wedges, so lower investment builds should aim to run 2 more Spectrum pieces to hit a minimum of 243% skill range before Misty Veil's effect. When running her as a combat partner, running 1 Typhon's Prime Serenity or Uplift instead of Typhon's Prime Morale can be helpful. As for her bossing build, you have a couple of options. You can choose to run 5-piece Inspo, or you can choose to replace the Covenanter Spectrum with a Sphinx's Duel for the damage bonus. Next up, let's talk about Rebecca's best weapons. Her best in slot melee weapon is undisputedly the Siren's Kiss. On top of the skill range secondary stat, Misty Veil allows Rebecca's jellyfish to take on the attack speed buffs of Siren's Kiss. Smelt 1, Siren's Kiss is a must, but going to Smelt 5 just depends on how much you want to invest. If you don't have a Siren's Kiss yet, other options include Rain Wraith, Vernal Jade Halberd, or Blade Amberglow. Her best ranged weapons are Exgress Duo for skill damage or Destructo for skill range, depending on which one you need more or prefer more. Next, let's review her Intron. At Intron 1, she gains 1 additional stack of Poison of Love when triggering a bonus effect. At Intron 2, she increases the maximum number of jellyfish allowed on the field to 5 instead of 3, and the Poison of Love cap is increased to 8 stacks instead of 6 stacks. Intron 3 increases her level of E by 2 and True Love Trial by 1. Intron 4 makes her take less damage from targets inflicted with her poison. Intron 5 increases your ultimate level by 2 and True Love Trial by an additional 1 level. Intron 6 allows Rebecca to gain an attack buff of 3% up to 50 times when defeating targets inflicted with her poison. Rebecca is relatively playable at I0, but for a low investment build, I2 is still recommended for the 2 extra jellyfish and poison cap increase. For a high investment build, go all the way to Intron 6. Now let's talk about the best teammates for Rebecca. Starting off, Tabitha. Her skill damage boost and buff is great for Rebecca's jellyfish, and her mobilizing tentacles provide crowd control. Truffle is currently the best second teammate for her healing and damage boost. While you might consider Daphne and the main character as a second teammate, their crit buffs are not as useful for Rebecca as they are for some other characters like Lynn, Lizbel, and Psyche, as skill damage cannot crit. Overall, Rebecca is one of the best early investments that you can make for a better farming experience. Given that most of your game time is spent farming, her strengths in farming efficiency and AFK farming even at lower investment levels makes her one of the best characters in the game. Meta-wise, putting all of your resources into Rebecca isn't really the best choice as there are better characters to I6, but bringing her to I2 with a Smelt 1 Siren's Kiss is absolutely worth it. Of course, if you just love playing Rebecca and you want to invest everything you have into her, don't be swayed by the meta, just do what you enjoy the most. I hope this video was helpful. This is my first time making this kind of video, so feel free to leave any feedback in the comments. Any changes in the future will be put into the pinned comments or an updated video. That's all for today. Thank you for watching.